I'm going to talk about some different methods to make money. Now, this can either be side cash or can even develop into more of a full time business. Honestly, it just depends on how much effort and work you want to put into these. And, the more you put in and invest into these things, whether that be through tools, equipment, whatever, the more money you can potentially make. So these are all like labor based things. These are not, drop shipping on the internet to make $1 million today. This is real, proven things. It's not like hidden knowledge or anything, but it's just, some stuff to think about, ideas to think about, routes to take. And these are all methods that I've personally made several $1,000s a year extra for the past few years, on top of my main income. So they all definitely work. First one I'm going to mention is definitely the most seasonal of the bunch, but it's snow removal. And depending on the neighborhood, you know, you can get entire blocks to sign up for you to remove their snow because in a lot of states, uh, it's required, legally required, or people just don't want to be sued. So the only thing you need for this one is, obviously a shovel and your own effort. But once again, if you have something like a snowblower or you have someone you can borrow it from, maybe even one of your customers, you might do someone's house, an older person, and they have one, you know, you could potentially get equipment for free sometimes. Not all the time, obviously, but if you have a snowblower, you can get this done even faster. When you have a large snow day. So simple thing, say from my own experience, my biggest day doing this, I made about 600 something dollars. From just multiple houses, and you get repeat customers, and I know people who have made a lot more than that, a lot more than I did. People who've made thousands in a single day. Uh, Unfortunately, now, or at a lot of people's jobs, uh, you might get called in for snow to remove snow, like depending on your position. So you don't make as much money as you do, but on your own, you know, and it's taxed. But anyways, another one is landscaping. Once again, this is seasonal, and this actually does have higher upfront costs because gonna need stuff like a lawnmower or weed whacker, you know pruning saws, whatever, stuff like that. But you know, certain materials, obviously, like if you're getting mulch or soil or stuff for these type of jobs, you obviously charge that material to the customers. And same thing with getting a snowblower. Your customers sometimes may even have this equipment, and if you develop enough relationships, or if you know someone who has it, you could potentially borrow their stuff, pay them money to uh, rent it, something like that. There's tool rental services. So there's different ways of doing it. And, this again, you could advertise in Facebook groups, have physical flyers that you mail around. Those actually do work, that can work because a lot of your customers are going to be older people. And they still appreciate a flyer sometimes, especially if you're going to work in their local area. But landscaping is good, and again, you can scale this. You could bring other people in on it if you're developing enough jobs. And once you get enough jobs, there's a word of mouth that goes around. Next category going to be a little broader. This is like general labor stuff. Again, you know, house cleanouts when people are moving. Uh, you could help local contractors. A lot of times people need additional labor. A lot of contractors do, especially depending on your neighborhood. I mean, a lot of these guys are older guys, and they don't always have a dedicated helper, or for a bigger job, they might just need you to help. And it's a good opportunity to learn. So it's that's another good one. You could do lots of other things that you might not even think. Like for example, power washing. Uh, Actually, my brother had did a power washing business for a while, and you get good repeat customers like local restaurants, people for their their patios, stuff like that. So there's lots of different ways, and anything too that with your car, or if you have a truck, even better with a bed or some storage like an SUV, you can always make money. Just moving shit and having something to uh, you know put things into. car or a truck, immediately that's a plus one. I'd say for any younger people, don't wait to get your license. Like a lot of people, especially in places like New York, will wait to get their license. But I would say just get it sooner rather than later because it can open up opportunities and being hired too. To do these jobs with a crew, a license, or even better if you can get a CDL, commercial license. Obviously, afterwards you have to be 21 to get it, I believe, but that will definitely open up a lot of opportunities. A CDL. Maybe I can talk about that more in other videos. How you might get this, etc. But another more specific way is painting, like house painting. This one I've used a lot. Definitely, it's great because it's not really season dependent like landscaping and snow shoveling. And this also requires basically no money up front. You're going to charge all the paint and everything to the customer. So, you'll get your money back if you do have to pay it. The rollers, all that, you charge it all to the customer. And, people always need stuff like this. And, it's not rocket science. You guys still do a good job. You can't just be sloppy. And, so you got to learn this first. So you could either do this for people that family, friends of family, whatever. Uh, you know, See if you can advertise it on Facebook groups. And I would say always remember to take before and after pictures because those are really, I think people really appreciate those on a Facebook group or something like that. Give them examples. If you don't have examples yet, honestly, like fake it. Like just take a picture of a room, in your house, your apartment, whatever, or another room, and even like Photoshop or something. No joke. Like just show before and after. Make the before look kind of dingy, or make it like a bad color, whatever. Just Photoshop it. Who cares? As long you just need to show a prior experience. So, kind of try to figure out what you're doing before you just jump in to a big job. But, you could definitely just start off by painting a room here or there for someone. And, there's definitely a skill to it. It's not like it's not a skill, but especially if you want to get, bigger jobs for like businesses or stuff like that, or even, using a paint sprayer. You could spray people's houses. That's a lot of money. That takes skill and knowledge to do. So, but once again, you can scale all these when you get more experience. And that's the point of all these really is that, there's always a need for stuff like this. You don't have to really sell it as much as other things like a product. Like if you're selling something you made, like a book, you really have to sell it, because it's not something people need. But these are services that people need. So a lot of times, just if you're there and they see you there and it's convenient, you'll get the customer, because it's just something they need either way. But the last kind of section here, I would say, is reselling or restoring things and reselling them. And for me, in my personal experience, that was sneakers. I did that with a lot of like Jordans and Foamposites and all that. And I would just, work on the Facebook groups and just kind of negotiate with people. And then I would do meetups. And so sometimes I'd buy the sneakers from the store. Obviously you sell them for more when they're priced out. I guess it works with clothes too. I'm not really up to date with what clothes that would be. Maybe some designer stuff, I guess. Obviously you can still resell. Um, but I used to do it with sneakers, but I'm sure there's other things. There's video games, uh, cards, like Pokemon cards. Like people actually can make a lot of money doing that. And the good thing with this is that I would say most people have some type of hobby or something they enjoy that would give them the knowledge to start doing that. For example, like if you play Pokemon cards, you wouldn't have to really spend too much time learning the value of everything because you already probably kind of know that what stuff is valuable. But this out of all the things here is a little bit different because this is more of a sales thing. It really is about the knowledge of what you're selling, of the prices, and also ability to negotiate with people. Especially if you're relying on Facebook meetups to do it, you're gonna get lowballed like crazy and deal with a lot of like really not great people that you want to deal with. Like people who are not serious. They're just trying to scam or whatever. But if you can navigate that successfully, I guess you can obviously do it on like eBay too and stuff like that, depending on your niche. But you know, so with all these things, there's nothing too unexpected. But hopefully, this could help you think about it. Think about what you could do, because these are all things you could just start today. You could just start doing it today. You don't have to like invest. You don't have to like own property or something. But you know. All right. Anyways, like and subscribe. More videos coming, related stuff, all different topics. All right.